I couldn't believe I witnessed that. I couldn't believe that happened. And I couldn't believe that was the first time I said I love you to Lolo. Imagine growing up in a culture that doesn't verbally express affection, and it's so extreme that the first time you say I love you to your grandfather is when he's on his deathbed. After Lolo's passing in the hallway, in the car, in the restaurant, at dinner, at home, basically all throughout the night, every single time I thought about that concept, I began to cry. I cried not only because that was my relationship with Lolo, I also cried because I knew deep down that's my relationship with every other single person in my life who I love. And I cried because I knew that most people in this world find this relatable.
Since you've stuck around watching until this point, I know you find this relatable. I've been excited to share this speech with the world for this very reason. I know the world will see themselves in it. The reason why I wrote this speech is the same reason why I left social media for the past month. Life happened. Or I guess I should say, life stopped happening for my grandpa. Yes, my grandpa passed away recently, and the video you're about to watch is me giving a speech at his viewing to a crowd of our family and their friends. My grandpa's death is the first time I've experienced death involving someone this close to me, and it's the first time I've experienced a death as an adult. So what you're about to experience is the story of the internal conflicts I was battling. There's a joke that I've seen online and that you may have seen online that says, trauma makes a person create better art. Well, I just Googled it, and apparently some studies and some experts say that that can happen. And I think that happened here. I wrote the first draft of this speech only 2 days after my grandpa's passing. So all of the emotions were fresh and at their strongest. I wrote this speech as soon as it came to my mind. I'm 100% in the flow state writing the first draft. In 2 hours, I finish, look up, and I'm like, that might be the best thing I've ever written. I send that first draft to my friend and I'm like, I think you'll love it and everyone will love it and relate to it. And that's why I was so excited to say it at my grandpa's viewing and why I'm so excited to share it with you guys right now. The reaction couldn't have been better. As I was saying this speech, I saw family members cry who I had never seen cry before, who I never thought I would ever see cry before. And afterwards, the applause was so loud, which I'm honored to hear that. And afterwards, my sister told me, when you got to the end, I felt like I was in a movie theater watching a movie end. And that's the best compliment that anyone has ever given me and that anyone could ever give me. It's like on the top tier. So many people were coming up to me afterwards, hugging me, saying, I loved your speech. And like one of my aunts just like grabbed me and hugged me for like minutes. I was like, I loved it. Aunts, uncles, people I'd never expect, people I hadn't talked to in years were coming up to me as I was getting food in the food area, in the food room, saying, I liked your speech. And that was the best feeling ever. Apparently, as I was speaking, my mom's relative was slapping her, saying, Galing, which in Tagalog means very good. And people were telling her, your son is very well spoken. Like one of the priests who spoke there said that to my mom, and one of the priests said that to me. So these people who have experience in public speaking said that to me, and I'm honored to hear that. My mom said it was unconventional, moving, emotionally powerful, and it leaves you with something to think about in your own life. And my mom was saying, you're so creative. The ending works so well. It fits so well, and it's not forced. It's eye-opening. It gives you revelations. As you can probably tell, I'm really proud of myself and this speech. I think the reason why everyone loved it so much is the same reason why I'm excited to share it with you guys right now. People see themselves in the story. People see themselves in me. I can't tell you how happy I am that I got into storytelling. I feel like I have the power to move people and make them learn something about their own lives. To me, there isn't another superpower I'd rather have, and there isn't another way I'd rather use it. Oh, also for context, in the speech, I referred to my grandpa as Lolo and my grandma as Lola. Lolo and Lola meaning grandpa and grandma in the Filipino language, Tagalog, because I'm Filipino American. And my grandpa's nickname is Paquito and my grandma's name is Flor. Also, telling this story to my family gave me a feeling of closure. So I think it was the best way possible to end this tragic few months. If this really is my best piece of writing, I can't even describe to you how grateful I am to say that honoring my grandpa is the reason why I unleashed it into the world. It's the holiday season, and the story centers around themes that are prevalent during the holiday season as well. So consider this a Christmas present from me to you. And if you don't celebrate Christmas, consider it a Hanukkah present from me to you. And if you don't celebrate Hanukkah, consider it a Kwanzaa gift from me to you. And if you don't celebrate Kwanzaa, just consider it a gift from me to you. I hope it makes you feel seen. I hope you can learn something about your own life from it. I hope it inspires you. And I just hope it adds value to your life. I can't even describe to you how grateful I feel to have this skill of storytelling and to use it for my grandpa. And I can't even tell you how grateful I am to share this skill with you. Enjoy. This is the best thing I've ever written.
Okay, thank you. Is the music on? Okay, it is. Okay, guys, I'm gonna start my speech now. I was waiting for my dad to show up so I could make this speech. But, hi, my name is Mikey. I'm the third and last child of Lisa and Medell. My mom is the second child out of 4. Flora is her mom and Francisco is her dad. I know them as Lola and Lolo. To me, it feels like Lolo is just his name. Perhaps it's because my grandpa on my dad's side, my dad's dad, left this world long before I came into it. So, Lolo was the only grandpa I ever had. Lolo was the only Lolo I ever had. I brought this up here because, yeah, for a reason. In my experience, Lola didn't talk much. But I relate because I also didn't talk much for most of my childhood. I was extremely shy, and as a result, Lolo and I unfortunately didn't speak to each other much throughout both of our lives. But Lolo was probably one of the family members I spent the most time around. My family and I visited him every weekend we could, from early childhood until now. We made sure to go to every one of his birthdays, and we saw him at every family party, which sometimes felt like every weekend. And he did the same thing for me. My earliest memories are Lola and Lolo coming to my house and visiting us. In elementary school, Lolo let my family sleep over at their house, and I played with my siblings and my cousins there. Those times ended up being some of my fondest childhood memories. Lolo went to every single one of my graduations, from elementary school to middle school to high school to community college to university. We were just around each other every single moment we could be around each other. But throughout all of this, we never said the words, I love you to each other. Maybe it was just too uncomfortable for the both of us. But can you blame me? For my whole life, the only person who ever said I love you to me was my mom. For my whole life, the only person who ever said I love you to me was my mom. However, I tried to express it to Lolo in ways that were easier for me. At 17, after I got my first job at Krispy Kreme, I made sure to buy Lolo a present for every single Christmas, birthday, and Father's Day that I could. At 20, after I moved out for the first time to university in Los Angeles, the first time I ever came back to San Diego was for Lolo's birthday. Even though I was loving my new life there, I put it on pause and came all the way back here because I wanted to show Lolo how much I cared about him. The truth is, as I grew into adulthood, I spent as much time as I could around Lolo, not primarily for me, but for him. I wanted him to know how much I've always loved him. In October of this year, on Lolo's 84th birthday, I forced myself to go to a Tom Jones concert with Lolo and my family. I didn't even know who Tom Jones was, and I still don't know. Seeing the crowd, I was definitely outside of the target demographic, but I still went to show my appreciation for Lolo. I recorded and edited a video of the concert. In it, I said I was uncomfortable to go to the concert itself, but I forced myself to go for Lolo. I wanted to go to show him I loved him. In the video, I said, when the day comes when I can't spend time with Lolo anymore, I'll know I made the right decision. Later that month, Lolo had to be rushed to the hospital. Just like always, I, along with my brother and sister, went with our mom to visit Lolo in the hospital every single day we could. One day I'm at home and my sister gets a message from my mom saying that Lolo has to have an operation, and the doctor says he has a slim chance of making it. I text my mom, should we come to the hospital? She replies, you don't need to. They're doing the procedure. I'm just letting you guys know of Lolo's condition and pray for him. Now, I was raised religious, but as soon as I hit my teen years, I started questioning everything. I was a teen with access to the internet, and I wanted to explore, and I started to explore all different points of view. I wanted to only believe what had evidence, and it got to the point where it seemed like there wasn't evidence that a God was real. But in the back of my head, I've always been like, well, we don't know everything, and it's possible there's evidence of a God being real, but it just hasn't been found yet. So there I am at 23, thinking, if there's a time to pray, it's now. There's a chance I'm really talking to nobody, but I don't care. I have to give this a shot. I have to do this for my mom, and more importantly, for Lolo. I'm sitting on the couch, I close my eyes. It had been about a decade since I last prayed. It felt nostalgic. I felt like a kid again. Fittingly, I started off with the Our Father prayer. Then in my head, I say, hey God, I know it's been a while. Last time I spoke to you, I was a kid. Sorry I haven't talked to you for so long. I just believe I have evidence, and it seems like the evidence just points to you not being real. But this is not about that. This is about Lolo. Please save Lolo. Please save his life. And if you decide this is the time to go, please protect Lola. Please protect Lolo. Please save him. Please send him to heaven. Please make sure he's in good hands. And if it is the case that it's his time to go, please just keep him alive long enough for me to show my video to him. In it, I say words of love that I've always wanted to say to Lola, but I never had the courage to say. If you're real, show me you're real, please. And maybe I'll start believing in you again. Amen. I respond to my mom's text asking me to pray for Lola, saying, okay, I did. I said that because I wanted her to feel comfort. I lay down on the couch, close my eyes, and start meditating as long as possible. Next thing I know, the thing that makes me open my eyes is the sound of the front door unlocking. My mom and my grandma come in crying. What happened, I say? Lola says to me with tears in her eyes, Lola might be leaving us soon. I was certain Lola was gone. But the sun came up the next day, and Lola was still alive. After that, I visited him in the hospital just about every single day. Each time I visited him, I thought about playing the video for him, but my family was there, and the video is very vulnerable. It's always been tough to be vulnerable around my family. A day goes by, another day goes by, and another. I still hadn't shown this video to Lolo. One night in the hospital, my family goes to the cafeteria to eat, and I stay back to be alone in the intensive care unit with Lolo. I'm sitting on the couch at the foot of Lolo's bed, and I start sobbing for like 30 minutes because I know what's about to come. It's at the point where Lolo can no longer see and he can no longer speak. All of a sudden, a nurse walks in, and I ask, can he hear? She says, yes, actually he can. Hearing is usually the last sense to go out. She leaves the room, and it's just me alone with Lolo in the room. I move up to his bedside and begin to speak. Hello, Lolo. This is your grandson, Mikey. We both didn't talk a lot, and so I never said this to you. I'm finally saying it to you now. I love you. Even though I never said it to you verbally, I hope it showed through my actions. I've been visiting you in the hospital every day and throughout our lives. I visited you because I love you. It's the same for the rest of my family. It's hard to get each sentence out because the tears just keep coming back. I'm crying because I feel like I'm apologizing to him. Apologizing for a lifetime of things I never said. I say more words of appreciation to Lolo, like, if you get lonely in here, just pray. That's all we can do. And then I pull out my phone and pull up a video I created of the concert we went to. The video I had been wanting to show him. I think, should I play this for him right now? I feel kind of shy to play a vulnerable video out loud in the ICU with other people outside the room who might hear. So I'm like, maybe I'll just play it for him tomorrow night. But then I was like, you know what, let's just do it now. For some reason, I feel like I have to do it now. I explained the video to Lolo and played it in front of him with the volume up. The video runs for its 10-minute length. I also say, here's your favorite song from the concert, and play him the one song he danced to, Johnny Be Good by Chuck Berry. I think that ended up being the last full song he ever heard. I say to him, I hope you enjoy the concert. I went for you. I will forever be grateful that I had the guts and made the decision to share all of that with Lolo that night, because Lolo ended up passing away unexpectedly early the next day when I wasn't able to be there. That coincidence just made me cry. A few hours after I wrote this speech, I looked back and remembered the prayer I said about keeping Lolo alive until I showed him the video. I broke down crying when the realization hit me. I went from thinking this was extreme luck to thinking maybe a supreme being is real, and maybe this supreme being listened to me. If it's the case that my prayer was answered, then it should be the case that Lolo is protected and Lolo is saved. I get a video call while I'm doing work at CSU San Marcos with my brother the next day. It's my sister, and she's in the ICU with Father Alvin and the rest of our family. They're surrounding Lolo and they start to say a prayer. It was clear that this was Lolo's time to go. The lights were yellow and dim, so it looked like a Renaissance painting come to life. It was sad yet beautiful at the same time. Sad because Lolo was about to pass, but beautiful because my family was together showing their love for Lolo. That's one of the most emotionally powerful scenes I've ever seen, and one of the most emotionally powerful experiences I've ever had in my life. In his final moments, everyone in our family takes turns saying our final messages to Lolo. I'm only 5 years into being an adult, but throughout those 5 years, I've had these moments where something significant happens and I step back and I'm like, I can't believe I'm here right now. This feeling has come from accomplishments like when I moved away to uni, and I guess it comes from tragedies now, because the feeling happened again. I was watching my phone screen and saw my cousin standing over Lolo's bed, rubbing Lolo's arm, sharing a final moment with him, and I'm like, that's the little rambunctious kid I used to play with whenever I was around Lolo. Now he's all grown up, and I'm all grown up, and now we're saying goodbye to our grandpa. Growing up, I always knew this day would come, but I shoved it to the back of my head in hopes that I could run from it forever. We all take some time to say our final messages to Lolo, and when my sister asks if I want to say something, and without a single ounce of hesitation, I immediately unmute myself and say, yes, I want to speak. Can you hear me? When the first words came out of my mouth, I broke down crying in the middle of CSUSM with people walking around me. I started getting scared that I wouldn't be able to finish the message, but I took a quick breather and continued. I ended up saying a variation of the same message I said the night before, just to make sure he knew that I love him. I am confident that he heard all of us because my sister told me in his final breaths, my mom wiped a tear off of Lolo's cheek. And with that, he was gone. In the hours that followed, I was in complete disbelief. I couldn't believe I witnessed that. I couldn't believe that happened. And I couldn't believe that was the first time I said, I love you to Lolo. Imagine growing up in a culture that doesn't verbally express affection, and it's so extreme that the first time you say, I love you to your grandfather is when he's on his deathbed. After Lolo's passing in the hallway, in the car, in the restaurant, at dinner, at home, basically all throughout the night, every single time I thought about that concept, I began to cry. I cried not only because that was my relationship with Lolo, I also cried because I knew deep down that's my relationship with every other single person in my life who I love. And I cried because I knew that most people in this world find this relatable. I felt extremely ashamed of myself for letting it get to that point. I told all of this to a friend and they replied, I know that he felt your love for him even if it wasn't spoken. It sounds like you both shared qualities that made you understand each other, and I'm sure that he felt your love just as much as you felt his. And that made me feel a lot better because it made me feel like, well, I guess Lolo never said, I love you to me either, and I still know that he loved me. Maybe Lolo was just like me, and he knew that I loved him even though I never verbally said it. After all, he did visit me as much as I visited him. What's funny is people even tell me I look the most like Lolo. I think Lolo passed down an introverted predisposition to me, and maybe we express love in the same way. But these are all just what ifs. I still had a little worry in the back of my head of, what if he never knew I loved him? A few weeks later, my mom, my sister, and I got started on the slideshow that would play at Lolo's funeral. This meant we only had 10 days to make a video summarizing all of Lolo's memories. And so my mom and I packed every photo album at my grandma's house into a suitcase, and for 10 days straight, with gloves on my hands, I flipped through photos from the 1930s to now, and scanned every single photo of Lolo that we could find. The scanner was slow, so you could imagine how long it took. But for what felt like a week straight, I stayed up past midnight every night searching for it and scanning photos. After everyone in the house went to sleep and told me to go to sleep, I stayed up secretly to work on scanning and editing. I wanted to make sure our family had all of the historical records preserved, and I wanted to make sure Lolo's life was known and respected. These are the moments no one knows about. This is the hard work for Lolo that no one will ever see. When editing, I took extra time and effort to change the video whenever someone requested it, and I didn't complain. I see myself and all my family members who asked for changes, and I know that creative expression is how people cope. I was happy to help. And this is more emotional to me now because I know that my cousin Alexis said that Lolo never complained either. My sister said she spent about 12 hours on editing, and I probably spent a total of 24 hours on editing and scanning total. When my aunt and my mom said Lolo needed a shirt under the barong to be buried in, I offered to give mine up. It was a new shirt, and it was the only one I had. The thought of my shirt being buried forever freaked me out, but I was willing to give Lolo something of mine to have until the world ends. All of this was so emotionally powerful to me. I just think I'm doing acts of love for Lolo even after he's no longer on this earth to know about it. I'm doing all of this to express my love for him, but there's a chance he never even knew I loved for him. There's a chance he never even knew I loved him. Well, one day, while looking through Lolo's stuff, my mom finds an old love letter from Lola to Lolo that Lolo kept. When I read what Lola sent to Lolo, my regrets were put to rest. The love letter reads, February 14th, 1969. Dearest Paquito, true love is so much more than words, as you and I both know. Maybe this loving Valentine will show, as I can't do, the very special love, sweetheart, deep in my heart for you. Love, Floor. I couldn't believe what I had read. I now know that Lolo knew that love is more than words because his wife let him know. Lola wrote it to him, and Lolo kept that letter. And this all happened over 32 years before I was born. And with that, like Lolo, I'm at peace. I no longer regret the things I failed to say in the past. But maybe what I said to Lolo in the hospital and this speech is the start of a new leaf where I express more verbal affection to my loved ones. So, I'll end it with this. I love you, Lolo. But even if I didn't say that, you still would have known it. Because dearest Paquito, true love is so much more than words. As you and I both know, maybe this loving funeral will show, as I can't do, the very special love, sweetheart, deep in my heart for you. Love, Flor, love, Lolo Eddie, love, Tito Fergie, love, Mama, love, Tito Kokoy, love, Tita Chet, love, JL, love, Kuya, love, Ate, love, Francine, love, Joshua, love, Alexis, love, Jacob, love, CJ, love, Mikey, and love all of your friends and family.
Deep down in Louisiana, close to New Orleans, way back up in the woods among the evergreens, there stood a log cabin made of earth and wood, where lived a country boy named Johnny B. Good, who never ever learned to read or write so well, but he could play a guitar just like a ringing a bell. Go, 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 Johnny, go, 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 Johnny, go, 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 Johnny, go, 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 Johnny, go, go. Johnny be good.
Yeah! Go! Go, Daddy!
Come on, Daddy.
Go! It's his birthday today. It's his birthday. Thank you.
His mother told him someday